for the following equations, we're going to find the focus, directrix, and then sketch its graph. So our first parabola, x squared equals y, is a vertical parabola because it is x squared. Simple as that to know. So let's start off with finding its focus and its directrix. So the only way to do that is you have to know its p-value. And the general equation for a parabola centered at 0 is x squared equals 4py. And for our equation, we are given x squared equals y. Now we need to find out what p is, and we can see from here that while the x squareds and the y's are the same, the coefficient of y is what is different. For the general form, it's 4p. For ours, it's just a 1. So what we can do is we can just take the coefficients of each, 4p equals 1, like so, and solve for p. So when I divide the 4 over, I'm going to get p equals a fourth. And that's what p equals. Now it's very simple from here to figure out what the focus and the directrix is. The focus is just 0p. And since we know what p is, our focus is 0 and a fourth. That's the focus of this parabola. Now, the directrix is just going to be y equals negative p. So again, we know what p is, so the directrix for ours is y equals negative a fourth. So we now know our focus, we know our directrix, and now we can go and actually graph our equation, x squared equals y. And we know it's centered at the origin because that's what this video is about, centered at the origin. So if I plug in 0 for x, I'm going to get 0 for y, so I'm going to have a point at the origin here. Next, if I plug in 1 for x, I'm going to get 1 for y. And if I plug in negative 1 for x, I'm going to get negative or a positive 1 for y because it's squared, so it'll make it positive. And we can go one step further. We do 2 for x, we're going to get 4 for y. And if I do negative 2 for x, I'm going to get positive 4 for y. And so there is our points for the parabola. We can just connect them all with the correct shape. I missed a little bit there, but that's okay. Let's make the point bigger so it doesn't seem too bad. But there's the equation of the parabola with our focus and our directrix. Now we're going to do it again, except our equation now is y squared equals 4x. So this one, because it's y squared, is a horizontal parabola. It's going to have this shape. So again, the basic form of a parabola, at least a horizontal one, y squared equals 4px, and ours is y squared equals 4x. So to find out what p is, we're just going to take the coefficients of x and set them equal to each other and solve for p. In this case, p is 1. So now that we know what p is, we can find the focus and the directrix. So the focus, in general, for a horizontal parabola is in the form of p, 0. So p is 1, so our focus here is going to be 1, 0. So there's the focus. The directrix, again, has a general form of x equals negative p. And since we know p is 1, our directrix is going to be x equals negative 1. So there's the focus and the directrix for this parabola. And now we're just going to go in and graph it. So this time I'm going to let y equals 0. And when I solve for x, I'm also going to get 0. Again, this is center of the origin, so they should all touch. The vertex should all touch the origin. Now, if I plug in 1 for x, I'm going to get y squared equals 4. But if I square root both sides, I'm going to get a positive 2 and a negative 2. So when x is 1, y is going to be both plus and minus 2. So here and here. Now this can kind of get a little bit out of whack because it's going to start bigger numbers, but this is still going to be the same basic shape of the parabola, so we can just draw our points like so to fill it out. So it's going to be kind of a wide parabola, but still we have our points. 3 is usually sufficient, but I did 5 before just to see it, but 3 in this case is enough for this one. So we have our graph of the parabola, we have our focus, and we have our directrix for this horizontal parabola.